First now at 6, a now 18-year-old has filed a lawsuit against a daycare in Greenwood.
In it, she claims that while attending the center as a child, she was sexually abused by a registered sex offender who was allowed to be left alone with children.
Those same claims have now opened an investigation by the Greenwood Police Department. That's where we find 5 News reporter Kayla Davis.
Greenwood police tell me they have been looking into allegations that a former student at Miss Tina's Preschool Incorporated was sexually abused between the ages of 3 and 6. The accuser has filed a civil lawsuit against the daycare, claiming they allowed a convicted sexual offender to be alone with kids and herself unattended.
We want everyone to know what this man did to her. And we want everyone to know that he was only able to do it because Miss Tina's enabled him to be able to do it. And the reason we want everybody to know this is because it educates the public. People need to know that this can happen and how easily this can happen.
Jamie Speaks is a convicted child molester and registered sex offender. According to a lawsuit filed this week, the owner of Miss Tina's Preschool Incorporated in Greenwood allowed Speaks to be alone with children at the daycare, despite knowing about his criminal history. According to state records, the owner of Miss Tina's Preschool Incorporated now operates Preschool Extraordinaire in Greenwood.
I don't go and do background checks on my kids' daycare teachers, right? Nobody does. Guess who's supposed to do that? The people hiring the daycare teachers. Her parents had no reason to know that their child was in danger, and they had no idea.
Speaks' wife worked at Miss Tina's according to the complaint and would bring him to work with her. The lawsuit claims Speaks volunteered at the school and allegedly took children to the bathroom unsupervised. An attorney for the now 18-year-old anonymous accuser says that's where his client was sexually abused between 2007 and 2011.
This is about reclaiming her story. That's a good way to say it. Reclaiming her story, taking control back of her own narrative, which was so horrifically taken from her at such a young age.
At the time of the alleged abuse, Speaks has already been convicted in the 1993 molestation of a 7-year-old at his wife's in-home daycare. In 2012, he pleaded guilty to separate charges of sexual assault and sexual indecency with a child. Speaks is classified as a level 2 sex offender. Greenwood Police Chief Brad Hobbs says that allows him to legally be on the preschool grounds despite his previous offenses.
Once you're found guilty of a crime of this nature, there's a committee that will determine the risk factors, whether you'll reoffend again or not, and level 1 through 4, 1 being the lowest, 4 being the highest.
Chief Hobbs says his investigators are actively interviewing additional witnesses.
It's going to take as long as we need it to take, or we're going to relentlessly pursue all leads that we can.
The Greenwood police tell me they have been investigating these allegations since May. Again, they plan to hand over all their findings to the prosecuting attorney. In Greenwood, covering news where you live, Kayla Davis, 5 News.
All right, Kayla, thanks. 5 News did reach out to both Speaks and the owner of Miss Tina's. Neither have returned our phone calls.